Kids Playground!
Hooray!
This is the Deron Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Deron Harris.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the program. Yo, thank you for joining me. Listen, I'm in a mood today because there's some disturbing shit that's just happening, and it's starting to happen more frequently, and it's starting to happen in places where it shouldn't happen, and it's starting to really bother me. It's starting to piss me off because like normal everyday things are being interrupted by this bullshit. Let me set this up for you. Well, before that, today I'm talking about Project 2025. Now, if you don't know what it is, you need to stay tuned and listen to this podcast. You need to sit right where you are, and you need to listen to this podcast. If you do not understand what Project 2025 is or what Schedule F is, then you need to sit down and listen to this podcast, all right? I'm not saying this as to get you to stay. If you want to turn it off, you can turn it the fuck off. But I'm telling you, you need to listen to this. If you don't know anything about it, I'm going to school you on it. And if I'm just going to say it like it is. If you're a person of color, you need to be concerned. You really need to be concerned about what this is. So let me explain what happened the other day. Well, yesterday. It was yesterday, as a matter of fact. I'm at the laundromat and I'm washing some clothes, some blankets and things like that. So I'm I get the clothes and I'm standing at a table. I'm folding my clothes. And there's an older lady. She's about 65, nice lady, whatever. I didn't really think too much about it. She was just standing next to me. She was doing the same thing. She was folding clothes. So she said to me, hey, good job, because I was folding some towels, and they were really, my mother taught me how to fold clothes, so I fold clothes very well. So she said, good job. So I was like, thank you, thank you. I was taught by my mother, my grandmother, on both sides, and they made sure that we knew. And she said, yeah, I teach my sons how to do this. And I was like, so we started a little conversation, started having a conversation. Now, as we're having this conversation, now this lady is, she's well, from what she told me, she was Puerto Rican and Irish, but she looked more Irish, which I didn't, I really didn't pay any attention to. But I noticed throughout the conversation that she started making these little jabs. She started making little jabs at things about migrants and the welfare system and the people that are on it, or the people that she thinks that were on it. So long story short, as we're having this conversation, she's saying these things and they were kind of negative, but I said, listen, in the respect of everybody, everyone is a person. Every person is a person. So I don't really have those feelings, those negative feelings towards human beings. I don't care about political affiliations or the country you come. I don't care about any of that. When it comes down to humans needing help, people needing help, I care more about the people needing help than, oh man, they're coming in here and taking our job. Well, one of the things she actually said was, oh, they come in here. I said, well, look at it like this. That undocumented worker that's working here, when he goes to get diapers, he goes to Walmart. When he goes to get gas for his car or the truck that he bought down here at the truck dealership, he goes to the gas station here in America. This person, whatever money they make here, they put right back into the economy. They really do, in order to sustain and live their lives here. Maybe their path to citizenship isn't yet realized. Maybe they're trying as hard as they can, but they're being ridiculed left and right by people who don't even know them or their situation or why they feel it necessary. Because I look at it like this. I'm from New York. As much as people don't really like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to leave my home. I never wanted to leave where I'm from, but I left. Now, some people, they don't want to leave where they're from, but they're being forced to leave where they're from by a condition that's really kind of fucking with their lives. So yeah, I sympathize with that. Now, does that make me a bad person? And no, I don't. That doesn't. And she really kind of agreed with some of the things that, as you know, the way that I put it to her. As opposed to, because I stripped, and this is what I try and do mostly. I try to strip all the politics off of it, because at the end of the day, I don't really think either one of the people that are running should be running for president. I really don't think either one of them have the answer. And I think that we are in bad sorts here, but there are so many fucking brainwashed people here on both sides that it's just getting annoying. So to continue with the story, I'm washing my clothes, and we start having a great conversation. Now, she was from Puerto Rico, my wife is Puerto Rican. So to kind of break it up, I mentioned that my wife was from Puerto Rico, and she had mentioned that she had gone through some surgery. She had cancer, and something told her to wake up in the middle of the night and call Moffitt Cancer Center, and she told me about her experience. And I said, well, my wife has just gone through some very serious surgery also, and and we're going through that right now. And I explained to her that she was my hero. So my wife and I we started talking about my wife and I and how we met, and it turned into a really good conversation. And she still tried to stick in some things. Well, these people live next door to me. They blast their music. He's a black guy. And then you can tell that's what she was looking for. She was looking to try to jab at black people, but I wasn't falling for it. I wasn't really falling for it. Instead, what I did is I spun it around and put it in the perspective that everybody goes through things, and there are people in all sects of society that exhibit behavior that is unwelcomed by other people. Everybody goes through that. There are white people, black, and I explained that to her, and I stripped all the color off of it. And I told her, I said, that's not a black or white thing. That's a human thing. That's a person thing. And I broke down why I thought it was a person thing, to which she agreed. So again, we started having good conversation, and it stayed that way. We conversated, we laughed and we joked, because it turns out I heard her accent. I asked her what part of the Northeast was she from, and she was from New Jersey. And I told her I was born in Morristown, and we chatted. We had a great chat about the Northeast and why she moved down there, and my roots in the town that I'm in, and my family. I'm related to half the people in town, and the other half of people in town were my schoolmates, and et cetera, et cetera. So as this is taking place, a guy comes in, and he starts to set his laundry things up, and he's putting his clothes in the wash, and he's overhearing me and this lady, and we're laughing. I'm talking about my wife, and I'm telling the lady how we met, and it was our anniversary, and it was my wife's birthday coming up, and the things that we wanted to do. And this guy looked at me and this lady, and he just decided to interject himself into our conversation. And I don't really know how it got started, but he had mentioned something that was really awkward about politics. And I looked at the lady, and she looked at me, and we kind of just shrugged our shoulders and continued our conversation. So he re-injected himself, he's a white guy, by the way. He re-injected himself and said, man, the election's not even going to be close. It's going to be a landslide. When Trump gets in the office, he's going to fix everything that Biden did. And he's looking directly at me like I had something to do with it, which I did. I voted for Joe Biden because I would never vote for Donald Trump. And he's telling me, oh, yeah, he's going to fix all of this stuff. He's going to fix these things, right when he gets in the office. You just wait and see. You don't even know what's happening, do you? And just at me, I said, listen, man, I'm trying to do my laundry, bro. I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm just sitting here trying to do my laundry, having a conversation with this lady here. And he keeps going on and on about how Joe Biden ain't shit, and how Trump is going to pull the wool off of everything, and everybody is going to learn, and you guys are going to learn. You're going to learn, and you're going to be where. Man, listen, man, you need, for one, you need to get the fuck up out of my face with that bullshit. Okay? I don't care. And I broke it down. So I have a way of explaining the former president to people. and why I think that supporting him is silly. And if you're from New York, a lot of New Yorkers will get this, right? A lot of New Yorkers, but if you're not, you won't get it. And I'm also one of these people who I've known about this man since and I've said this in other podcasts, I've known about this man since I was 8, 9 years old for other reasons, way before he was on television or popular or famous or any of that shit, for any of that shit. And I knew about him because him and his family, him and his father, they destroyed Coney Island, Brooklyn, because they were sued twice for not renting to Black and Latin voters. Now, I've said this before on other podcasts. And that's no big secret. It's news. You know what I mean? It's out there. So the problem was I'm explaining to this lady, and I say to him, I said, listen, I don't care about your candidate. And he, oh, well, why? I said, well, really, I don't have to explain it to you, but I will, just to let you know why I don't fuck with this guy. And the lady she turned into me. And I said, okay. And she, immediately when I started talking about, in the metaphor I was talking, and she immediately identified. I said, me and you live on this block, right? We've been living on this block for a long ass time. That guy lives on this block too. He's been living on this block as long as we've been living on this block. We've been kids around here. But nobody on this block really fucks with that guy. Because he's been screwing people over since the beginning. He's been a rude-ass dickhead since the fucking beginning. And nobody on his home block, fucks with that guy. Okay? When you're running for office, I don't care who you are. I don't give a fuck how bad you're losing the election. When you go to your home state, you're supposed to win that. This man's home state doesn't even like him. His hometown don't even fuck with him. So why would you? Why would you fuck with somebody whose hometown, the people who know him best, whose own hometown wouldn't fuck with him? Why would you fuck with that guy? And the lady immediately, right in her face, I saw it in her face, she was like, wow, that is fucking true. Because it is. I mean, it really is. Would you fuck with somebody whose hometown don't fuck with them? Really? Really? That means you're fucking brainwashed. It means you've lost something. You've lost a step. You've fucked it up somewhere along the line. Why would you follow this motherfucker when his own hometown, the people who know this motherfucker the best, don't even fuck with him? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But it does make sense to me. And I'll tell you why I do think it makes sense. I think it makes complete sense. It makes perfect sense why his supporters support him the way that they do. And it does have to do with politics, but it has to do a lot with policy and power structure. And that's what it's about. That is what today's podcast is about. I'm talking about the power structure that is in place currently. The current power structure that we got going on right now, let's face it, folks, has been failing. You know, for many different reasons. Okay? There's no unity in our country at all. The United States of America is the most divided place, I think, on the face of the earth. The United States of America is more divided than fucking long division. I'm telling you, it's just fucking stupid here. We should just call ourselves the states. That's it, because we're not united. You know, everybody's fighting each other over complete and total bullshit. They're trying to they want to take away people's rights because they don't think that they're people. Because it's just ridiculous the way that politics works in this country, because it's not about the people. It's about personal preference. It really is. It's about people's personal preference and them not wanting to see. If they don't want to see it, they don't want anybody else to see it, and therefore nobody else should do it. And that's really what it is. It's about personal preference, which becomes selfish. It becomes selfishness. And that's exactly what we got going on in politics today. On both sides, we have selfishness happening. And here we are. We have black people in the middle of it trying to figure out who the fuck to vote for. Do we vote Democrat? Because Democrats have been fucking us. They really have. But do we vote Republicans? Because Republicans have been fucking us. I mean, where do we go? What do we do? What do we do? I mean, as far as black people, I know some Latin people, a lot of Latin people, they have gone Republican. I mean, a lot of, like, especially here in Florida, down in Miami, Miami is Republican aligned, largely Latin, Cubans. It just is. They identify with those ideologies because they identify with that power structure. They think they identify. John Leguizamo had a quote that I'm going to quote this guy, and I think it's absolutely hilarious and extremely brilliant at the same time. He said, "Latinos for Trump is like roaches for Raid." And that right there sums it up for us too, black folks, everybody, everyone, everybody, really, everybody. Anybody for Trump is like roaches for Raid because he doesn't care about us. He cares about maintaining power for him and his family. Okay? That's all he wants is power for him and his family. And if you line up with his ideology, then you're okay. Make no mistake about it, though. He does not care about classes lower than his. The only reason he cares about it, watch what I tell you. He's going to take office, and all the shit that you guys love, the only thing he's going to do is beef the military up and go bully the world around. That's the only thing he's going to do. Shit on black and brown people. That's the only thing he's going to fucking do. He's going to make sure that the white agenda, the white power structure maintains its current position. That's all he's going to do, and that's why people are voting for him, is because they believe that he represents the last frontier of white supremacy. And that's what it is. They align with white supremacy. And that's why they vote for him. And that's why it doesn't matter if he's guilty of the things that he's guilty of. It doesn't matter if he's if he sexually harasses people. It doesn't matter if he insults veterans or attacks people by their race. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the only thing they want is to maintain the white power structure. No more, no less. And the people that vote for him, they get the pass. I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to break down the rest of this bullshit. This is Darren Harris Podcast. I'll be right back.
Donald Trump is the only president in American history who has refused to guarantee the peaceful transfer of power.
Joe Biden,
he lost the election and he knew it.
To become the president.
He betrayed millions of Americans by telling them the election was stolen.
Stop the steal.
He ignored the rulings of dozens of courts. Rather than accept his defeat, he mobilized a mob to come to Washington and march on the Capitol. Then he watched on television while the mob attacked law enforcement, invaded the Capitol, and hunted the vice president. He refused for 3 hours to tell the mob to leave. There has never been a greater dereliction of duty by any president. Trump was warned repeatedly that his plans for January 6th were illegal. He didn't care, and today he celebrates those who attacked our Capitol. Donald Trump has proven he is unfit for office. Donald Trump is a risk America can never take again.
Now, back to the Darren Harris Podcast.
So, I'm trying not to be derogatory. I really am trying to be a good citizen. I really am. I'm trying to not be derogatory towards a lot of these, super far-right MAGA Trump supporters. I really am. I really am. I'm trying to look the other way. You look your way, I look my way. We don't cross paths. Out of sight, out of mind, same here. I'm trying to look the other way, but you motherfuckers are starting to inject yourselves into my regular everyday life. I'm doing my fucking laundry, okay? I'm trying to do my laundry. The last thing I want to hear about is this motherfucker, okay? But anyway, what I'm actually talking about is what this guy one of these things that this guy said to me. One of the things that he said to me, he said, "You don't even know what's happening, do you? You don't even know what's going to go down. You have no idea, do you?" And actually, I do. I do kind of know what's going on, and that's why I'm doing this podcast. And I'll tell you right now, I'm just going to say it like this. If you are a conservative, right-wing, Christian, Anglo-Saxon person listening to my podcast and you want to dip out right now, feel free. Feel free to duck out right now, because what I'm about to say, I'm not going to pull no punches about it, because you guys don't pull any punches. You have language. You make language that makes you seem like you are absolutely harmless, like you have every bit of every single American's best interest at heart, but you don't. You don't have my best interest at heart. You really don't. And I need you to do something for me. I need the far right, and I need the right to do something. I need you to admit that you don't give a fuck about me, okay? I need you to just go ahead and say it. Just say it, Mr. DeSantis. Just say it. Just say it. Whoever, I forgot to name the governor of Louisiana. Say it, Brian Kemp. Say it. Say it. Just say it. I could respect that a whole hell of a lot more than some fucking minutia. Just say it, man. Just say it. We want to maintain the white power structure. We don't care about black issues or brown issues. We don't want anybody of any other color coming into this country. Just say it. Just fucking say it, man. I'm so sick and tired of people saying, "Oh, well, I voted for the business and, he has great business." Fuck that. You don't want fucking Mexicans coming here. Just say it. We're God-fearing, upstanding Christians with conservative values. You don't want black people in your fucking neighborhood. Just fucking say it. Just say it. But you can't. But you can't, because you know that it's wrong. And that's why you just can't come out and say it. That's why you just can't come right out and say it. Because you know that it's wrong. You know that it's bigoted. You know that it's racist. You know it. But yet you refuse to care. Just like this person just like he just was convicted of fucking fraud, but you don't care. There are people in this country that say it doesn't matter what he's done wrong. He's their guy. And the reason why, and like I said, they're not brainwashed. They just agree with the ideology that he wants to preserve the white power structure. Which brings me to my next point, which is, what the fuck is Project 2025? Now, if you don't know what Project 2025 is, I think you need to brush up on some things. Have you ever heard of the Heritage Corporation, the Heritage Foundation? Heritage Foundation? Have you ever heard of that? Well, it is a right-wing lobbyist group. And what they do is they get their shit out there. They get their point across. And they write idea for policy. That's how I'll put it. They write ideas for policy. Their policy, for their agenda, to preserve their specific agenda. Okay? So what they did is they put together this Project 2025. And what this basically is going to fucking do is and they want to do this immediately, okay? Instantly. They want to do this as soon as this dude takes office. In January, they want to have these people on the ground, and I quote, weaponized Republicans. And what they want to do is they want to prune out all traces of any kind of democratic opposition so that the government itself lines up as closely with their values, no matter how extreme they are. That's what they're fucking pushing for, folks. Are you listening to what I'm saying? If you're a black and brown person especially, are you listening to what the fuck I'm saying? And here's a hint for you. The Heritage Foundation, they don't give a fuck about us. Their agenda is to their mission is to push the conservative agenda, the far-right conservative agenda, and to keep that power structure in place, to uphold those policies, to make new ones, to get rid of agencies and initiatives in actual government. They want to get rid of the EPA. They want to get rid of the Board of Education, the FDA. They want to get rid of everything. They want to get rid of fucking everything except for the Department of Defense. I wonder why. Because they're about to go out in the world and be complete douchebags to everybody, and you're going to need some fucking defense. You're going to need to defend yourself against the douchebaggery you're about to start doing, that you're already doing here in the country. I mean, they have people, you can't even speak up against this person without receiving death threats. What kind of politics is this? What kind of politics do we have in this fucking country where if you receive death threats, I mean, public officials, I mean, hundreds of death threats. It's wild business to me. I mean, it really is. There's trolls. I mean, I post stuff, right? I'm a comedian also, right? So I post things. And sometimes I post pretty inflammatory shit, and I do it on purpose. I do it on fucking purpose. I post pretty inflammatory shit because it's my opinion, for one. It's my truth, for two. And for three, it's my fucking page. Okay? But every time I post something, it doesn't matter, right? If I post something, I post a lot of different things. I posted some stuff about, during Black History Month, which is a fucking farce, by the way. I posted some stuff for Black History Month. I posted some books, just some books, 1 minute video, just some books for black people or brown people or anybody really who wants to read them, but mainly for black people, other black people like myself. I posted it for them. I got some likes on it, quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. But you know what else I got? A lot of fucking vitriol. I got a lot of fucking bullshit-ass comments, hatred, race, all kind of racial bullshit, just racial bullshit. For one, I wasn't fucking talking to you, okay? For one. But that's what I'm talking about. Motherfuckers always feel the need to insert themselves or interject themselves into spaces where A, they weren't invited in the first place, and B, they really don't fucking belong. They really belong here. Nobody was even fucking talking to you. But you feel it necessary because that's that ideology. We control everything. We control the narrative of everything. This person yesterday in the fucking in the laundromat tried to tell me about black people and what black people feel about Donald Trump. Okay, I say you can tell me about the black people that you see on television, like Tim Scott and Candace Owens and a few other people that are out there. You can tell me about them people, but you can't tell me about my whole fucking community, man. Why? Because you're not really involved here. You're really not included here. And the reason why you're not included here is because you've chosen to separate yourself. So that's how I know you don't know, because you're separated from my community to begin with. My producer, who is also a white guy, he knows more about my community than you do. And sometimes more than I do. We joke a lot that he is a white black content creator. But It's the truth. Certain people, they make it their business to be informed about things, and they don't turn away. They don't turn a blind eye. They dig things out. They take it apart. They understand what the broken pieces are, and they see how to fix these things. And they understand that this man doesn't have the answer, and neither does the other one. It's very, very sad, folks. It's very sad when people in this country, the livelihood, the safety of every person in this country is in the hands of two people. And we just let it happen. And I'll tell you who the stupid people are, man. I'll tell you this, the stupid ones. The stupid ones are the ones who believe that either one of them can fix our problems. You feel me? Because they can't. They can't. And the reason why is because they're not trying hard enough. One's not trying hard enough, and the other one doesn't want to. He wants to fix it for himself. He wants to fix it for him and his constituents and his family, and that's it. And the rest of us are beneath him. There are people leaving the country, man, for real. Because things are about to get bad here. And people are just going about their fucking everyday lives like nothing's fucking wrong. But shit is broken in the United States. And it's either going to take one hell of a fight to save it or nothing at all. That's if people even care. That's if people even care. If the people even care now. And I'm talking about the black and brown people, the Asians or whatever. I mean, there's certain people who line up with them because they have money. So, yes, of course you can do business with us. You know, you're not of that. You know what I'm saying? What I understand is the angst within the community. You know, I don't understand why we're divided. Well, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. Well, who the fuck are you voting for? Because if you vote for Donald Trump, that means you're voting for white supremacy and Project 2025. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I don't think Joe Biden can fix our problems, but I'm not going to fucking vote for Project 2025. That's for damn sure. I'm not going to vote for white supremacy. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I have plenty of white friends. I love you dearly, but I'm not going to vote so that I'm not voting for white supremacy. I'm just not voting for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm voting for everybody. I'm voting for everybody to have the same shit, which we've just been trying to get the same shit since the beginning of this motherfucker. Since we started the ignition on the United States of America, we just been trying to get some equal footing. But every time we get a little bit of something, either it's destroyed or fucking ridiculed or torn the fuck down, whatever. But now we're to a point where that really isn't going to happen to us like that anymore. You're not going to come into Black Wall Street and burn shit down. So what do? You do other shit, like you do things like make legislation. There's a lot of groups out here, folks, that are out here to hurt us. There's a lot of groups, and I'm going to tell you what, white people, some of y'all think I'm white, and you ain't safe either. Okay? You're not safe either. Because at the end of the day, civil unrest is still civil unrest. It's going to get worse here in coming days, folks. I feel it. I mean, I don't want it to. I hate to say it like that, but I feel it. Shit's going to get worse here in coming days. It's going to get worse before it gets better. It really is. I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why we as a country, what the fuck happened all of a sudden? We're just so brainwashed. We're brainwashed. I mean, we watch the most flashy shit in the world. Everybody's so preoccupied with what the fuck Puffy did. That Project 2025 is rolling on like a fucking steamroller, y'all. They want to get rid of all DEI initiatives. Everything. The EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, they want to get rid of. All non-essential government offices, they say. Which basically, this is going to give them the ability to walk in on day one and fire everyone in the government that opposes them. That's a big deal, y'all. Now, you don't think so because you're just going to work every day? You don't think so but it's a big deal, man. And they're going to make it so that it can't be undone. The Supreme Court is already stacked. We've already lost the Supreme Court to that ideology. And I'll tell you what, man, Clarence Thomas just sitting up right up there in the middle as the face of Uncle Tom. It's sad to sit and watch other people stand behind Donald Trump, realizing and knowing what this is going to do. Realizing and knowing that Project 2025 has nobody at benefit except for white people, white Christian conservatives. That's it. It's sad, and it's a sad day in America when we can't sit down and realize that. When we can't sit down and realize that something like this is bad for our country. Something like Schedule F. Basically, Schedule F is really what that is the firing of everybody. 50,000 plus government employees will lose their jobs, their livelihoods, because they don't agree with Donald Trump and him trying to screw over more brown people. I don't get it, folks, but I do at the same time. I completely get it. It's because that's what they want. They are clear and they are decisive about it. They are voting for this man and all of his bullshit because that's what they want. They want to keep this, and they won't say it. They're not going to come out and say it, folks. They're not going to come right out and say it. But that's what it is. That's why they feel it. And that's why it's so dangerous. Because, like it or not, white people are still the majority in this country. And when we have, some Hispanics and some black folks and other races helping them along, man, kind of puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage. So we have to determine, folks. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to get the fuck up out of here. But we got to determine something real quick, folks. Real fast. Do we want a country? And ask yourself as a black or brown person, do you want to live in a country or in a place where white supremacy is the law of the land? Sit on that for a second. Do you want to live in a place where white supremacy is the law of the land? If you don't, then I suggest you get the fuck up and you get with your people. You start talking about this shit. You start chopping it up instead of standing around trying to make moves and get the bag and all this shit, homie. Instead of doing all of that shit, you need to start trying to figure out how the fuck you guys are going to stop this. Otherwise, we just going to be sitting here. You see Hollywood falling the fuck apart, right? Hollywood is falling apart. Everything around here, everything here is crumbling. And we are still asleep. That's that anti-woke shit for you folks. That's the anti-woke shit. Wake the fuck up. Wake up. And stay woke. And fuck anybody who tells you, oh, we're getting rid of this woke ideology. No, because they want you to close your eyes so they can stick their hand as far up their ass as they can reach and pull your whole life out. They don't give a fuck about us, okay? Make no mistake about it. The only thing they care about is money and power. They do not care about people. All right? They do not care about people. They care about what they have, and they don't give a fuck about what you don't have. And if you think they do, you're fucking wrong. And I'm gonna ask you, and I see this too, man. I see this. I ride through the country here. I live in a pretty rural place. And I ride through the country here. And I see a lot of these places, with Trump flags hanging all over the place. Fucking yard just got 10 fucking beat up ass cars, grass all grown the fuck up around, motherfucking tarp for a roof. How the fuck did your life get better? It didn't. But you vote for him because of the ideology. That's why. It's not his political prowess. It really isn't. It's because he's a white supremacist is the reason he's going to win if we don't act. All right? Now, this is not another ploy to vote. Although it should be a call to action. It should be, hey, man, we need to get the whole hood registered to vote today. Everybody. Everyone. And think about the shit that they've done throughout the course of the years to keep their power. Think about what they've done to us. They have incarcerated us and made us felons. And felons can't vote, right? They've taken our voices away by making us guilty of little bullshit, and we keep fucking falling for it. We keep falling for it. They falling for it hard in Chicago, shooting each other up. Blah, 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 blah. We falling for it hard down here in Florida, too, with all these fucking drugs, just poisoning everybody, trying to get the fucking bag on some drugs and bullshit. We need to get smarter than this. We need to be smarter than this. Because I can't front. As bullshit and as fucking devious as it is, pretty fucking smart what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it and trying to bend it in their will so everything from here on in goes in their favor, and it doesn't matter what the fuck we say. They're trying to take away any kind of support for the LGBTQ plus community. Anything. They're anything that does not align with that bullshit that they call Christianity. Because I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't care what you say, and I'll say it straight in your fucking face to any of you. The shit that you motherfuckers on, stop calling it Christianity, man, because Jesus wasn't on none of this shit, okay? He wasn't on none of this shit. None of this shit that you was on. So stop calling it Christianity and just call it what the fuck it is, okay? Stop saying that you follow God and start saying that you follow Donald Trump. You go right ahead, man. Stop saying that shit. Stop saying that you have the best interest of all people and all creatures of the earth. Shut the fuck up. It's your hypocritical ass. You lying ass. You just lies on top of lies because the only thing you want is white supremacy. And then once that's in place, then you guys get to march around and do what the fuck you want. And we have to kowtow to it. We have to bow down to whatever it is you guys want to happen. And they're pushing back Jim Crow, all kinds of shit. Jim Crow, Roe v. Wade, all kinds of shit is happening in this country, but we are sleeping. While motherfuckers are just quietly voting for it. Quietly voting for it. Oh, yeah, we're going to do that one too. Oh, yeah. Oh, this just happens to be with it. Oh, okay, well. While we wondering what the fuck, Puffy doing. What the fuck, what's wrong with Kanye? All this other shit. While they fucking stealing resources from Africa. All kind of shit, man. We need to wake the fuck up, man. I'm serious. I'm upset today. I'm mad today, man. That shit in the laundromat, man. That shit in the laundromat. That shit. It's bullshit that it happened, but I'm also glad that it happened because it has put me in a perspective to say, hey, listen, okay, now I really got to try and push this shit out here because I don't know what it is. My wife, I'm telling my wife, shit. If shit get bad, we moving. We leaving here, but she don't want to. Oh, if it's Florida, it's so nice down here. I don't give a fuck about it being nice, man. I care about safety. Okay, I care about my safety. I care about the safety of my family and the people I love. And these motherfuckers don't have my safety or your safety in their thoughts. Watch how much shit starts getting defunded. Watch how far out of your neighborhoods you start being pushed And there's going to be nothing you can do about it. That's going to do it for this episode of the Deron Harris Podcast, folks. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that today has got fire in my fucking veins right now. I'm just fucking angry about it. I'm angry about it. People got to know. Push it out there, everybody. Push it out there. And I'm going to tell you right now, for anybody on that right side that's listening to my podcast right now and you got all kinds of, fuck you, okay? Straight like that. Okay? I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care how far we go back. I don't give a fuck. Okay? Because if you can stand up in my face and smile in my face and then go check that checkbox to get rid of everything that represents me, then how good of friends are we? Do you really care about me? Are we boys? Are we homies? Do you care? Do you actually care? Obviously, you don't care about what happens to me, because if you cared what happened to these people, then you wouldn't vote in that direction. You wouldn't vote for hatred, and that's all you're doing. When you vote to push babies back over the border, you vote for hatred. When you won't, and that's the thing, Joe Biden also, the other side too, when you won't fucking say Israel, hey man, you need to calm the fuck down or we're going to take everything we fucking gave you, then you might need to be voted out. The American people, I hate to say it like this, we need to stop being so complacent. Because motherfuckers in Hollywood and Washington, they just doing what the fuck they want. We need to start holding some accountability, folks. And that's for real. I want to thank my parents. I really want to thank my parents. And especially I would like to thank my father. I want to thank my dad today because of my father, I think about these things. And I'm concerned with these things. And I thank you for that. I want to thank my mother always, because my mother is a nurturer. My mother loves people, and that is why I feel the way that I feel. Because I love people, man. I love people. As shitty as we are to each other, I just adore them. I adore people. And I think that we all have the capacity to be better humans, man. I think that we do. We just got to want to. We just have to want to. But it's going to be a hard fight because there are people equally as dedicated to being shitty people. All right? I want to thank my wife. I want to say thank you, baby. I really do. I love you and I appreciate you. Happy anniversary and happy birthday. I want to thank my producer and best friend, Jesse Yandel. And I want to thank you specifically again today because we talk a lot about this. We talk a lot about race. We talk a lot about the construct of race, the state of racial relations in this country. And I like to say, and I like to think that you and I have broke those barriers. And if we could do it in the place that we were and the time that we did it, then everybody, there's hope for everybody, man. There really is. I want to say thanks to Gentry Thomas for giving me my platform and allowing me to voice my opinion. No matter how harsh or how militant it may sound, I do appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody out there listening. I really do. I want to thank you all for joining me every week. For those of you who do join me every week, and I want to thank the ones who don't, come back. I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity, and maybe one day you'll give me an opportunity again. I want to thank everybody who will listen in the future, and I want to thank everybody who no longer listens again. And yeah. Think about it, folks. It's serious. It's getting to the point where it's getting real close. It's getting really close, and it's getting real scary. It's time to start focusing. It's time to start focusing. Okay? I'm Deron Harris. Until next week, this is Deron Harris Podcast. Love y'all. Peace.
You've been listening to the Deron Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DeronHarris.com.